All right. Okay. Are you still there? Oh, sorry about that. I didn't have the light on. I couldn't see myself. That's the problem with being dark skinned. You can't see yourself in the dark. Okay. Okay, so this is why I like the old saints. You new saints. I don't know why everybody is focusing on the new saints so much. And you have to understand that the disciples at some point became old saints, and we're still listening to those old saints. And they made a couple of honorable mentions about the younger saints. You know, John that loved Jesus, and I think it was Timothy. I apologize, I'm not looking at the Bible, but there were a couple young saints that were disciples of the Christ. They were disciples, and then they became saints. So, you know, don't be a saint if you ain't a disciple. So, so I just want to take some time to show you how the older saints communicated. Okay, and I understand right now it's the older saints that are uplifting these younger saints, but oh man, the younger saints have a little more influence over the church than they should have. Okay, I mean, we're just giving them way too much time. So, I mean, look, I was a young saint, and I guess at some point, people gave me attention, but that's probably how I became an old saint. But right now, we're giving the younger saints a little too much attention, and we need to be listening to these older saints. This is why you want to listen to an older saint. I told you before, and I'm not and I told you I'm not an I told you so kind of person. But I want to tell you something, and I'll tell you. And if I say it again later, I may say I told you so. So I'm saying something again later. This is the year of Jubilee. Well, what do you mean this is year of Jubilee? And my boss didn't tell me this was the year of Jubilee. And my mom and them, they didn't say nothing about the year of Jubilee. Okay, that's fine. The older saints, they didn't really explain stuff. They just kind of got right to the point when they said stuff. So since I got taught by the older saints, I just go straight to the point. So the year of Jubilee, you need to go read about it. I mean, don't wait for me, because I got 1,400 something friends. By the time I get to you, I might be on a coffee break or something. I don't know. Here you come, and you'd be like, "Do you remember me?" It's, "I don't remember you," kind of thing. Yeah, all right. Um, like, have you ever noticed how people will come up to you and ask you if you remember them? And I'd be like, "No," yeah, and then they'll tell you, what you were wearing on a certain day in 1969. I'd be like, I don't know what to do with that. Okay, so there is that kind of "I told you so," but this isn't a different kind of "I told you so." This is the kind of "I told you so" that you want to listen to. Okay, listen to this. This is the year of Jubilee. Okay, so when you hear that, this is how I'll know you got it. Number one, if you read the Bible in the King James Version and find out what the year of Jubilee means, you have to do it for yourself. This is what it will sound like if you would sing it. The number, okay, there's three people involved. The first person here is, this is the year of Jubilee, and all debts are to be forgiven, and blah, blah, blah. That's the first person. All right. This is the second person. Well, in the year of Jubilee, what you do is you pay your tithe, you give your offering, and at the end of the year, you'll get whatever you were I'm saving for. What I did when I learned about the year of Jubilee, I paid my tithes like crazy. I gave my offerings like crazy. And in the 12th month, I got a car. Bad credit, but I got a car. I needed a car. Okay. And now keep in mind that a car can be a curse. So, so getting a car, I didn't jump around in the dealership saying, "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord." Okay. But I did get what I needed, and I got it because I did something during the year of Jubilee. Okay? And the third person, the year of Jubilee, the year it's like a season. It's like a time. This is the time of Jubilee. This is the year of Jubilee. The year of Jubilee won't particularly end in December. So the year of Jubilee isn't necessarily going to end December 2017. Okay. Now, if you were to sing it, each person who would sing this song is going to sing it a little bit different. It depends on which one of these three you are. Now, what is this? What is this song? If I can remember the tune, God is trying to tell you something. That was in a scene of The Color Purple, I think, when the young lady who was estranged from her dad, who was a preacher and a pastor, I don't know, from the unction of the Holy Spirit, came from the environment she was in, trying to come into the church with her whatever or whatever. So you have to understand. You have to understand some things. The people who are in church are also the people who are. Oh, geez, look at that. The people that are in the church are the same people in The Color Purple who came into the church. During the church service. And they sung this song. God is trying to tell you something. God is trying to tell you something. God is trying to tell you something. Get it? It changed the service. It changed the service for that day. I believe the pastor even became speechless, but that's only because God used the pastor's daughter to do that. So God is trying to tell you something. This is the year of Jubilee. Now the old saints, Color Purple, that's an old movie. The old saints used to sing it like this. I'm got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. Oh, I got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Okay, you can sing that kind of song in the year of Jubilee. You could kind of sing that kind of song anytime, but these are the songs that I'm singing during my year of Jubilee. This year is just a period. This year is just a season. Look, the Bible says 7 years there's 7 years there's 6 years that, but you have to understand this is how the year of Jubilee works. You have to understand how it works. All right. Let's take 7 years. And 7 years. When a child reaches seven, they're different. They don't whine no more. They don't cry no more. They stop peeing in the bed. Blah blah blah. They really shouldn't be wearing Pampers anymore. So there's something that happens on the seventh year. Now you have to go through the 6th year with the child, but on the 7th year, it's like, okay, cool. The child doesn't pee in the bed anymore. Okay, kind of thing. If you this, I'm just using this example. If you've had to raise a child to pee in the bed, okay. So the year of Jubilee has something to do with 7 years. So by the time you reach 49, all right, when you turn 50, and you can have a release, you can have a freedom, you can have some things. Like, okay, that's uncomfortable. You can reach the age of 49, just like the Christ reached age 30 and started his ministry. He didn't start his ministry until he was 30. At least it wasn't written about it. And the same thing happens to you when you reach the age 49. If you're not going to be like the Christ, well, at least grasp this. God works in periods of 7. So the number 6, or the period of 6, is really going to take care of you for 2 years. So if you do something for 6 years, and you understand that in the 7th year is a year of rest, you know, like the Christ, formed the earth in 6 days, and on the 7th day he rested. Well, that's what Jubilee is. But the problem is that what we're not grasping is that the 6th day is what's going to carry you through the 7th year and the beginning of the 8th year. That's why 8 in the Bible is the number of 8. The number 8 in the Bible gives indication of a new beginning. Okay, so you become 49, and what you're doing at the age of 49 will produce for you what you need to carry you through the 50th year, the 50th year of your life. So that basically everything you did up until the age of 49, when you reach 50, you can get it all turned around. Or in the year of your 50th birthday, everything can turn around, everything can benefit you, everything can be for your benefit on the 50th year. Now the same thing happens in 7-year cycles. Okay, but in the 50th year, your 50th year of life, if you have a mortgage, you know that at one particular year you get a balloon payment, and it means you have to pay more than you were paying all the other times during the mortgage, or all the other monthly payments, kind of like that. So let's take a look at this. From year 1 to year 6, you'll see the child grow, and then eventually, when the child turns 7, you'll be like, okay, that's cool, and you don't have to train them so much in their 8th year of life. That's not because they went to school and they learned something going from kindergarten to 1st grade. All right, because they learn more with you in 6 years than they're going to learn in 1 year in kindergarten. Okay, so we have to look at this right. It's right there in front of your face. If you have kids, if you don't have kids, use other children for this example. You've seen kids. You've seen how they change. It's like when someone comes into their relationship with Christ, you see how they change. That they change. Okay. Now, for 6 years, you work it. You work it out. You figure it out. You're taught. You're trained. And then you know when you get 7, they'd be like, okay, and look, I don't know how to handle this child. He don't listen or whatever. In the 7th year, then you start, kind of being responsible. They put you in kindergarten, basically. And then you have to do what you were trained to do for 6 years. All right. And then when you reach kindergarten, then you have to go to school. All right. And they expect you to behave in kindergarten. So not only are you a good child in kindergarten, you get friends and you get rewards and stuff like that there, okay? So everything you did for 6 years, for that 1 year when you're in kindergarten, you get all those rewards. Now, the way the Bible explains it is you plant on your land for 6 years. And then at the end of that 6 year, you don't plant for the 7th year. Well, what am I going to get at the end of the 7th year? Well, if you love God, follow his word, do what he says, it works out differently for you. It'll work out differently for you. This is the way it'll work for you if you listen to God. If you do something for 6 years, at the end of that 6 year, when you add everything up, you have enough to take care of everything you accumulated over the 6 year. And everything that's needs to be covered in the 7th year. And you have enough to start the 8th year. And then you live off the 8th year. And then you start again. So your 8th year is your first year. All right, so 7 is the cycle. All right, and 8 is number 1. 8 becomes the first year again, which is really new beginnings. 8 is a number of new beginnings in the Bible. My email address is singpraise8@yahoo.com. I put the 8 in my email address once I learned what the 8 means. And you know what? I had that account longer than any other account. I had that account since 1989, 1990. I can't really remember when computers came out. The heck? I can't really remember when computers first came out, but it's been a while. For you younger people, it's always been there, but for us older people, there was a point when computers came out. And for my email address, I had selected an email with an 8 in it. And because during that time, I was learning what numbers meant to God, how God communicated with us in numbers. Okay, so I hope you got it. Hey, Timothy and Michael, how you doing? So, I guess I could say it another way, but I think that I'm talking to people who have understanding. When the Bible used to be read on scrolls, they had scrolls and they would open them like this. How to get my hands on it. They had scrolls and they used to open them like this, and they used to read down the scroll, or they used to read up from the bottom of the scroll. Up, all right. So only people who could understand would be given the scroll to read. So, for example, you wouldn't give the scroll to somebody and they open it right, but when they read it, they would read it from the top to the bottom, from left to right. You'd be like, "Oh, you don't have understanding, my brother." So they would, take the scroll from you and give it to someone who had understanding, and someone who had understanding would read the scroll from the bottom up. Got it? So I perceive that people who are hearing this are people who have understanding. So sometime today, I hope that this song is placed on your heart, because I'm sure my neighbors heard this song at 5 o'clock in the morning and they're like, they didn't bang on the wall, so that was a good thing. So let's close out this video with, this is the year of Jubilee. Again, this particular year is, for example, going from the 6th year into the 7th, which is going to give you enough to help you, or it's enough for you to start what you need to do in the 8th year as well. So you have a whole year where the land is resting. All right. So God will provide for you in the 6th year enough overflow. You're asking for overflow. Don't ask for overflow for one particular situation. Ask for overflow for a year and a year and a half. Okay, so this is what this season is. A season is a year and a half from the end of the 6th year through the 7th year, the whole year, the whole 7th year, and have enough to start the 6th year. That's going to the 8th year. That's going to at the end of the 8th year, it's going to provide what you need for the 9th year. Then you go to the 9th year, blah blah blah. All right. So so that's my prayer with you, that you end up with, I got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. So that's going to be your 6-year mantra, your 6-year song. You're going to know you're planting the same amount of seeds, but for some reason, God's going to multiply it at the end of the year, and it's going to be enough, for a year. It's going to take care of your year end for the 6th year. It's going to be enough to carry you through your 7th year, and it's going to be enough to start you for your 8th year. So it's a simple thing, and I hope it